All right, we back. Motor City Sports Talk. We in the building. Appreciate the love, support. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the videos, and we talking about possible stars that the Pistons could land. You know, up into the trade deadline or early on in the season. I seen an article on Free Press, so I'll be reading a little bit from there. And some of the guys on there: Bradley Beal, Chris Paul, Kevin Love, Marc Gasol, Adams. We talked about him the last couple of days. DeMar DeRozan, Andrew Wiggins, Gordon Hayward, LaMarcus Aldridge, and Bradley Beal are the 10 they listed. And let's talk about it. Oh, Karl Anthony Towns is another one I really want to talk about. But I appreciate all the love and support. Keep sharing the videos. Best donation you can make is share the video. And the reason the trade talk is coming up is because the Pistons have two big aspiring contracts. And aspiring contracts are attractive for teams that want to rebuild or want to make a run at another player via trade or free agency. And that's why the Pistons are, could be in the running, because they got Andre Drummond contract around 26 and Reggie Jackson contract around 18 million. Now it's still basketball discussions being had. Malik Rose, Ed Stefanowski, Dwayne Casey, and obviously the owner Tom Gores about do they want to re-sign Andre Drummond. I won't beat a dead horse dead, because we already talked about how I feel about Andre Drummond. Obviously, people can say, "Oh, Blake could be a bargaining chip," and he could be, but I think trading Blake would indicate that they are going to rebuild. All right. And I think what the Pistons really want to do, being I think the third season, they go in that Little Caesars Arena. I really think they want to build. They want to build towards a winner. I really don't think they want to rebuild. But let's talk about the guys that probably are not as sexy. Gordon Hayward, coming off a leg injury. He got to show that he back. Obviously, Jaylen Brown is another guy I think people will be looking at, and I'll kind of talk about him a little bit. But according to Free Press, he's 29 years old, 2 years left, $66.9 million, including a $34.2 player option. So I don't know it, including, so he got basically 2 years left. He's not going to opt out of $34 million. And really what you got to see with Gordon Hayward is if his leg's coming back. He may never heal from that injury. What Paul George did from his leg injury was an anomaly, all right? It usually doesn't happen. Most guys never recover from that, never return to form. Paul George has. But if Hayward can return to form, I believe that he can help the team out. He's the wing scorer. He a ball handler. I think him and Blake can play good together. And to be honest, right around $28 maybe million left on the contract. You can make it work. You can make a Reggie Jackson, Luke Kennard, Tony Snell type of deal, or without Luke Kennard with Tony Snell, and try to swing a Hayward. I think Snell got 2 years left, so I don't think they'd be mad at that in Boston. And I believe Reggie Jackson this is his last year. I think more Piston fans would be more attracted to Jaylen Brown, is who he's not listed on his list. And I think Jaylen Brown got untapped potential. They talking about, he's not improving. It's hard to improve when you got your veterans fighting for the ball. And I believe Jason Tatum and Kemba Walker will take off now that they kind of got Kyrie out the way. And I think they have a better locker room. So I look for Jaylen Brown to take off. And if Gordon Hayward take off, I don't think I'm mad at either one, but I'm more like Jaylen Brown. I believe he can defend. They lost Al Horford, so maybe they'd be looking for a guy like Andre Drummond. Maybe you could swing Brown and Gordon Hayward. I wouldn't be mad at it if Hayward could return to form. But if he can, I like Gordon Hayward's game a lot, and I think he's a great fit for Blake. I think in that deal, you can keep Andre Drummond for Gordon Hayward. I think you would. Hayward, Blake Griffin, and Drummond is beautiful if Hayward is healthy. If not, you can get Jaylen Brown. His salary is a lot cheaper than $28-30 million that Gordon Hayward got. Okay. Other guys, Marcus Aldridge is a guy that people wanted to come here. I think at one point his agent had a relationship with somebody in the front office with Van Gundy or Jordan Bowers. At this point, he's steady. He provide low post scoring. He can play the 5. Blake can still play that 3-4 position. They saying right now he got 2 years left at $50 million. 7 of his $24 million salary is guaranteed in 2021. So I guess he don't have a fully guaranteed contract. I didn't really never heard of that, but he durable. He could provide good defense, but He's a better scoring defender than Andre Drummond. He's not the rebounder, but he kind of got a reputation of being soft like Andre Drummond. 34 years old. So I think we trying to get younger, but I think at this point, he more a guy that need to attach on to like a Brooklyn, or I'm just throwing names out there, Toronto, the Lakers or the Clippers. I think he more of a name for those guys. I think he need to be closer to a championship caliber team to add on. I don't think he could be the cog or our future. It'll be this, we really have to be going for it now to add an Aldridge, and be a championship contender. So I don't really see a 34-year-old Aldridge, truly helping us. And I'm gonna say like the good ones at the end. Marc Gasol is another one. We tried to trade for Marc Gasol. Remember last year we tried to trade for him. He got 1 year left, $25.6 million left. I think his better days are behind him. I just don't see. I understand why they did it last year. I don't understand why they would trade for him last year. He do provide some scoring, some defense, defensive player of the year. But you go from a 26-year-old guy in Andre Drummond to a 34-year-old guy. That indicates that they're trying to make a run for a championship with expiring contract. That indicates that they may be rebuilding. I don't really see Marc Gasol really helping the now, especially after the finals. He looked old and ran down. He didn't like the Marc Gasol of old. Kevin Love, another guy, 31 years old. Kevin Love would, in my opinion, kind of reminds you of Blake Griffin. But Blake is way more better on the wing and handling the ball. But kind of at that undersized four guy. He can play with Andre Drummond. If you can get Kevin Love and keep Drummond and keep Griffin, I think it's a solid fit. He can rebound, kind of a little bit, lackadaisical or lazy on defense. So that's my problem. If Drummond improved defensively, then you can get a Kevin Love. He provides shooting. He provides championship level experience. And I think he could make the Pistons a serious contender. But other than that, it's his first year. He got a 3-year contract worth $91.5. So his extension must be kicking in this year. But he kind of fit what John Beilein do down there. At least what he did in college. So we'll see what John Beilein do. But I'm not too high on bringing in Kevin Love. Andrew Wiggins, to me, he just don't do enough. He don't have enough heart. Another guy that got a reputation for being soft. He got a 4 years, $122.2 million left on his contract. He just, he's a streaky scorer, not just a streaky shooter, streaky scorer. He got great potential. If Dwayne Casey can bring that potential out of him, you can have a potential all-star, superstar type player. But he's soft. He don't do nothing but score. He don't rebound. He don't get assists, and he's just lazy, man. And that contract is atrocious for his talent at this point. So I really don't foresee the Pistons really going after a guy like Andrew Wiggins. But I've had to rank the guys that I just talked about real quick. Out the lesser ones, number one on my list will probably be Jaylen Brown. Number two, probably Kevin Love. Then Hayward if he's healthy. And then, maybe Aldridge, Gasol, and then Wiggins because of his contract. So out of the rest, I really wouldn't rank them high. But talking about Chris Paul, let's kick it off there. Adams, I know how I feel. I like Adams a lot. I feel he better than Drummond. That's just my personal opinion. But Chris Paul, he got an atrocious contract, 3 years, $124 million. But Chris Paul, is a good player. He's still functional. He kind of fell off in Houston a little bit because Mike D'Antoni don't know how to adjust his offense, and he should have had James Harden coming off screens and and playing without the ball, and letting Chris Paul set him up some more. He don't know how to make adjustments, but at the end of the day, Chris Paul could help the team, but he just can't stay healthy, and it kind of be like the reinvention of Lob City with Chris Paul and Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin is a different player than he was back then now, but I simply just don't think Blake Griffin wants Chris Paul on the team, okay? That's what I think. I don't think he wants Chris Paul on the team. I don't think he had a good relationship with him, and I just think Chris Paul gets too injured, to rely on, okay? That's my problem, and the contract is atrocious. 3 years, 124. But if he come here and be durable and him and Blake get along, and you can keep Chris Paul, Blake, and Andre Drummond, I think the Pistons could be coming out the East if Chris Paul can stay healthy, but he never been able to stay healthy throughout his whole career. All right, and now we can talk about DeMar DeRozan, which is a guy I really, really like. He's 30 years old, not too old. 2 years, $55.5 million, including 27.7 player option. So he got 1 year left, or he could opt out He one of those guys that probably could opt out, as long as he don't get injured and get more money than that. But I think he'd be a great fit. If you can keep Dre and Blake together, and you could add DeRozan somehow, I think it's an excellent fit. I think he come to Detroit, he can handle the ball. Blake can play a little bit off the ball. Guy he can trust. All-star, good defender, good mid-range game, extended his range out to three. He could be that point forward / shooting guard, and he defend. And he can shoot from the mid-range. His three-point shot getting better. And, Blake can have somebody he can trust and rely on to handle the ball. And I think, his playmaking ability and dishing off the Drummond would be huge. So I really love going out there to get DeMar DeRozan. I think he'll be huge for us. And I think Bradley Beal is another one. They offered him a Supermax extension or something like that. And I don't think he yet to respond, but he got 2 years, $55.8 million left. But I just don't think they're going to move Bradley Beal this year, but he'll be a good pickup. I like DeRozan better than Beal, but the one thing I like about Beal is 26. But he can handle the ball. He proved that if, John Wall passing the ball, he can play make, he can shoot. He a little undersized, but the key word is you don't have to worry about him. He can shoot from three. He can defend a little bit. He can play make, as we seen last year. But he younger. Maybe you might give him the edge over the edge over DeRozan. But I think he'd be a great fit with Blake. You know what I'm saying? Him and Blake and Drummond, you keep Drummond there. And I have to give him up in the deal. It'll be a great fit, but I think you might have to give Drummond up to get a guy like Bradley Beal. I think he'll be the hardest guy to trade for out of the deal because they really don't want to give him up. And he's a talented player, but he brings shooting, he brings solid defense, and that's what the Pistons need. He could play make a little bit, but I like DeRozan more of his playmaker, but he's younger, and I think Beal is still getting better. And make sure I didn't miss anybody. We pretty much talked about everybody. And I linked that article in the description. But this is the guy that's most intrigues me out of the bunch. Minnesota and Karl Anthony Towns is a 5-year, $158.3 million. I think Towns could be a once-in-a-generational talent that they could acquire. He a little soft, but hey, he's a modern big man. He can shoot. I think if he spent more time in the paint, he'd be good. I think he way better than Drummond. All right, he a great offensive player already. I just think he need to commit to his back to the basket a little bit more. He can do that. He need to be a little bit more tougher. He is, got a reputation for being soft, and Jimmy Butler brought it out, but he intrigues me the most. I would love to trade for Karl Anthony Towns. And, I think he is a superstar in the making. And I think Dwayne Casey can get some good minutes. He can get some good production out of him. And I think it's a huge upgrade over Drummond. You know what I'm saying? As long as I don't have to give up Blake, I can build with Blake and Karl Anthony Towns, and he's 23 years old. And I think that's the guy I'd be going after. And Minnesota got a new front office, and they might be going a new direction to rebuild. I would be calling Minnesota to try to acquire Karl Anthony Towns right now. I go Towns and Blake Griffin, and then I could just build around those guys. And you get younger, you get better at the center spot, and you get a guy that can score and that you can teach to be tough and get tougher. Blake Griffin had a reputation for being soft, and he kind of changed that reputation to being tougher. So I like Karl Anthony Towns, but to rank the guys I talked about, the guys I really like, Karl Anthony Towns is 1. I say Bradley Beal is 2. DeRozan is 3. And then I would go Chris Paul at a distance 4. But I like Karl Anthony Towns the most. If I could swing Karl Anthony Towns, man, I would definitely do it. And the reason why Minnesota would do it is because they're looking for cap relief. And Drummond will opt out. He won't stay in Minnesota. He'll be a free agent. They get 26, 30 million off the cap. And then they just got to worry about moving that atrocious Andrew Wiggins contract if they could do that. But if you want Anthony Towns, you got to take Wiggins, then I got to think about it for a minute. But I still may do it. But then again, you really got to tally up the money. You have to throw Andre in there, Reggie Jackson, Tony Snell, and then you probably still have to pay some more money. So, but if it's like strictly Karl Anthony Towns, man, I think he a beast, man. Towns and Beal intrigues me the most because they under 27, you know what I'm saying? Bill 26 and Karl Anthony 23. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Which one can help the Pistons out the most? Which potential trade chip would you trade for? Appreciate the love, support. And don't forget to check out my other channel for more music, sports, entertainment, and much, much more at Goodfellas Sports TV. Don't forget we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out to the email if you got business question, inquiry, sponsorship, and video requests. Keep sharing the videos. Appreciate the love, support. And yeah, man, check our Piston playlist off, Lions playlist, and college sports playlist as well. And I'll link the Free Press article in the description, man. So appreciate that love, man. Let me know which guy you intrigued the most. Let me know who you